Okay, we are live, and needless to say, we've had some technical difficulties. So we're trying again. Let's see what we got here. Okay, looks like we are live. Finally live. And now we're waiting for Steve to come back in. I just sent him the new link. Steve, now we're absolutely live. Steve.
Okay.
So we are live. So go ahead and let's do that introduction one more time. Switch to the camera for you.
Okay.
And just give us the quick introduction, who you are, where you are, that sort of thing.
Okay. Hi, everybody. Thanks for joining. We're sorry we are late. Had a little snafu there.
Technical difficulties.
Right. Courtesy of Craig. Yeah. I'm Steve Hammalian. I am owner of Little Treasury Jewelers in Gambrills, Maryland, with my wife, Linda. We've been here 20 years. We are a very active watch dealer with 24 brands, and also sell jewelry and repair here in the store. And one of our principal brands is Grand Seiko, and that's the topic of our discussion today. So let's move over and show you a watch. Okay, there we are. Let me, whoops. Are you seeing that okay?
Kitty MB says, wait for more people. Yeah, we have to really do this now because we delayed. I had some issues with my streaming box. I reinstalled new firmware on it, and then it wasn't working properly. Then we tried to do a Hangout, and for some reason, the first Hangout wasn't working properly. So we've had technical difficulties, but we've got some. That's the beauty of these Grand Seikos, like the one that's on the screen right now, is there are no technical difficulties with that. It just always works. So there's something, they're the rock in our life. Right, Steve?
Correct. So shall we go ahead, or do we want
to? Go ahead.
Okay,
yep.
Go ahead. Okay, so I'm going to be talking about first the Quartz Grand Seiko GMTs, and I'm going to be showing you GMTs that are in our current collection, and we have most of them, so we're not missing too many. And the first piece up is SBGN 003. It's brand new in the collection, just released within the last few weeks. It retails for $3,200 and has a black dial and has a bit of Loom on the dial, which is
I like that.
Fairly unusual in the Grand Seiko collection. And a very nice piece overall. Also, a little uncharacteristic is the 24-hour markers on the bezel. And this is a very wearable piece at 38 millimeters in change and just a little over 11 millimeters in thickness. And I'll show you.
So that could really be an all-arounder. That could be an all-arounder.
So
that could go under a dress cuff. It's small enough and thin enough, and small enough and thin enough to kind of wear all the time.
Integrated clasp on the bracelet, and adjustable with half links.
Sure.
Okay. So that's the first piece. And
those are accurate to 10 seconds a year, correct?
Yes.
That one.
And the next piece we're going to talk about is very similar. It is the SBGN 0.
Focus is off just a hair there. You might want to move it.
Thank you, Craig.
Whatever way you need to. There we go.
Yeah. And that is, as I said, the SBGN 005, also retailing at $3,200. And it's got a very beautiful midnight blue dial. I don't know if you can see it. As with many Grand Seiko dials, it's going to be mutable in different lighting situations. I've got a very bright light above, so I can't move this around too much, but you might catch up some of the blue elements in it. It's really, really nice piece. So otherwise the same.
And now what size is the case again on that one?
It's 38 and about 38.5 millimeters.
So about the same size as the other one.
They're really a dial color variant of one another. So same watch, different dial color. Okay. And now we're moving into one of my favorites. This is the limited edition SVGN 007. It's limited to 1,200 pieces worldwide, so it's going to be fairly rare. $3,200 also, as with the two previous ones. And you will note that it has a polished bezel. The 24-hour indicators are on the chapter ring in this case. And I hope you can see it there. And then beautiful green dial with GS embossed in a pattern all over it. I think it might be hard to see in the light I have here.
What is the size of that one? Yeah, your focus is off a little bit too. Yeah, and tilt it a little bit so we can see that.
Yeah, you're going to get a lot of light reflection.
It's kind of difficult to see. Yeah.
Yeah.
That is a gorgeous. I've seen that dial in person. That is a gorgeous dial.
Yeah, I'm sort of a green person, so I love this.
More of a dark green than you're seeing in this video. It looks kind of washed out. It doesn't look like that in person.
Yeah, very intense lighting at my desk here, so sorry about that. And then nicely contrasting gold logo on there. And at the bottom at 6 o'clock, you'll see the star, which indicates this is the very highly accurate special quartz movement, accurate to 5 seconds a year. So very special, nice.
Now, what's the size of that one?
This one is the same size. So this is going to be about 38, maybe 38 and a half.
And the thickness is the same?
Same. Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
Yeah. So, and my last quartz piece I want to show you is this lovely and very different how's that? That should be pretty good. This is the SVGN 001. It's limited to 800 pieces worldwide, and it is $3,500, and very striking. And that's sort of a dark mustardy brown dial with the yellow accent to indicate daylight hours in the 24-hour realm.
And what size is that one?
It's the same as the others. 38.
Okay, so these are all very manageable for an all-around watch, dress, sport, really any use case.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they're excellent. And
this is even thinner than like a Rolex GMT,
mm-hmm.
thinner than that, and a little bit smaller, just a little bit. So that would really be a good, if you just wanted a one-watch solution. And of course, your servicing costs are close to zero because all you have to do is replace the battery every 3 years and you're good to go and no other servicing. That is a good all-arounder option.
And for those of you new to Grand Seiko Quartz, it's arguably the best quartz in the world. They grow their own crystals. These watches are all thermocompensated. They check ambient temperature 580 times a day, 540 times, excuse me, and adjust so that they keep a good time in different temperature environments. And they have a dampener on the second hand, so it just strikes abruptly on the markers without any vibration, which occurs.
Yeah, and I want to point out that it is in sync. It does point right at the hash marks every time. The camera angle may vary on this stream, so it might not look like it does. Like right there, it looks like it's not. But if you're looking at it properly straight on, it's hitting those hash marks every time.
Yep. So lovely piece. Highly recommended.
Somebody in the chat asked about the SBGC 201. You know off the top of your head what model that is? SBGC 201.
SBGC 201, but that's a chronograph movement.
Okay.
Okay.
And does that also have a GMT function? I think it does, right?
It does. Momentarily sold out.
Okay.
There's a silver dial, a black dial, and excellent timepieces. Love them. So, but I'm not going to be able to show them today.
Yep. So Thomas says he doesn't like the yellow. Well, that's why they have those other models without it.
Yep.
There you go.
Okay. De gustibus non disputandum est. They always say something like that. Right, Craig, in your Latin class?
And Patrick says sometimes Quartz doesn't get the credit it deserves. Well, yeah, the 9F is just a whole different animal. It's just amazing. Now talking about amazing, here we got the spring drive.
Yeah, this is the SBGE 201. Okay, that's why I hesitated a bit with that 201 business. And
now I got to point something out. It looks like it's clicking the second hand, but it's actually not. That's because of the frame rate of the video. In real life, it just smooths right around. There is no clicking. So I just want to make sure the viewers know that.
Okay. So this is a really interesting piece. It is 44 millimeters. It's a spring drive, which hopefully most of you know what that is, but unique to Grand Seiko and superlative movement, accurate to 1 second a day. And I just lost Craig's picture.
And it will run for many, many years without having to worry about servicing that thing. Don't listen to Grand Seiko saying you should service it every 3 to 5 years or whatever. Just run the thing indefinitely, because the escapement, there is no typical escapement. So there's a lot less wear and tear on that movement than a typical mechanical movement. So it will run for a long, long time.
So this has the 9R66 movement in it, 72-hour power reserve and accuracy, as I explained. The bezel is sapphire bezel, and it does rotate, and you're able then to effectively track 3 different time zones if you're clever with your GMT.
Just like a Rolex GMT you would do.
Yeah.
The Watch Lounge says these watches have been on his radar. So there you go.
Well, let's put them on his wrist.
There you go.
Forget the radar.
Steve's the guy to deal with. Misaligned date. He says the date, it does look in this video like the date is not centered in the window. Is that because it's getting around towards midnight?
Let's see.
I think it is. I think the watch is getting around towards midnight there. They do take about 30 minutes to change on the spring drive. On my spring drive,
updated the date. It's looking better.
Yeah. So see, that was in the process of changing the date, and so at about 11:30 p.m., a little after 11:30 p.m., it starts changing. And a lot of people get bent out of shape that it takes like 30 minutes for the date. I'm like, hey, I'm asleep at that time.
Right.
I could tell it's in the process of changing anyway. It's not a big deal to me, but now that the Quartz one changes instantaneously, if that's what they want. At like 4 seconds after midnight, it just changes instantly.
So I want to point out also that you have both the 24-hour indicators on the bezel and also on the flange. Okay, and that's how you trick it to do your 3 time zones.
Yeah.
So, all right, enough of that.
Chris says, I have 1 GS Quartz, 1 high beat, and 1 spring drive, and a Milgauss. Perfect collection. Well, there you go.
All right.
Which one do you wear the most, Chris? Let us know in the chat. What's the MSRP on that one? Did you mention it?
I think I did. It's 5,800. Maybe I didn't.
5,800 on the spring driver, and the other ones were anywhere from 3,200 up to what, 3,500 for
Yeah,
the
the one with the yellow that the gentleman didn't like was 3,500.
yeah.
Okay, so let's move on.
And Thomas, the power reserve indicator in real life, it really is not. It doesn't jump out at you like it does in these macro shots. It really just kind of sits there in the background, and you don't really notice it in actual use. At least I don't on mine. It doesn't bother me one bit. And I do like knowing if I'm doing a rotation of 2 watches, I do like knowing that my watch isn't ready to run down. But these are very efficient on the winding, so they don't require as much wrist time. Now, is this a different one?
It is. This is new. It's the SVGE 245, and it has just 600 pieces worldwide. Lovely dial. It's alternatively called red by many. I call it root beer. And it's a brownish red, fabulous looking piece. Retail 6,100. Mm-hmm. And
now these have all been stainless steel so far, right?
Yes.
Okay. Now somebody just asked, do you have any high beat Peacock GMTs in stock?
I wish I did. I sold many of them, and I had many more people looking for them. They've been out since maybe June.
Are they a limited edition?
Oh, yes.
Are you getting any more?
Nobody's getting any more.
Nobody's getting any more. Okay. So sorry, Brian. Yeah. You have to get it on the aftermarket.
But I'm heading over to Basel end of March. I'm sure there could be some really nice limited pieces announced then. And
Chris says GS is the best watch in the world. I have to agree with him at this point, especially for a daily use watch.
Mm-hmm.
And somebody says limited to 600. Somebody else says stunner. More like a black cherry dial.
Okay, that's a good one.
This one looks great, Steve. Love the burgundy dial. Clive says limited edition. Who said the Japanese are done copying the Swiss? I'm not. I have to honestly say I'm not a big fan of all the limited edition stuff. I wish they would just settle down and have a product line that is stable and that we can wrap our head around and know what is what. And
I have to disagree.
I get too confused with these.
I think it allows them to introduce a lot of interesting models without bloating the permanent collection. And so I think it's actually a good thing. So,
and you sell more watches.
Well, that's a good thing too, isn't it?
Okay. No kidding. Who's a fan of limited editions? I mean, here's the thing. I mean, if they come out with something with a particular dial that you really like, then that's great. But I mean, like, for example, a Rolex Datejust, you can get a whole bunch of different dials. So they could still do the same thing. They could still have a real stable model and then just change it up a little bit with a different dial or whatever. Even different hands, like they'll do that on Rolexes. So there's things they can do. But I guess that's kind of what they're doing. Right, Steve?
Yeah, in a way, but I think that you have things that are fairly esoteric, like the Peacock. I'm not sure that belongs in a permanent collection. I think it's a perfect limited edition thing. Mm-hmm. And honestly, it's the fun of the hunt, isn't it? If something's always available, it becomes maybe a little less interesting. But if you're finding something that's rare and special and you're able to grab it, that's great too.
Well, there you go.
And those items may well appreciate, as is the Peacock. So there you are. All right, I'm going to move on from this stunner and take it a little different direction. And here we have another stunner.
And by the way, Steve keeps a large inventory. So with him, you get a lot of watches to choose from. And with a watch in this price range, you want to get the right watch. I mean, and he allows you to do that because he keeps an adequate inventory.
Okay, so this is the SVGE 211. GMT. Really very attractive piece. It's 40.5 millimeters by 14.1 by my measurements, and pretty attractive with the black and contrasting red spring drive, of course.
So that's a nice size, right around the size of a Submariner, for example. So, did somebody post the link to this Hangout? Because we got people popping in. I don't know how they're getting it.
For what?
The Hangout link.
Oh.
So anyway.
So, okay. And now just
maybe Chris accidentally posted the Hangout link for people on your Facebook.
More people are coming in, you're saying, or
in the Hangout? Yeah, there's a couple people in here, but that's okay. They've muted their mics, so they're good.
Okay. So another black dial with red accents. This is the SBGJ 203, and it is 9S86 movement.
So that's a high beat.
It is a high beat.
And what's the thickness on that one?
Thickness on that, I'm gonna have to measure.
That's a good looking dial on that puppy.
It's a good looking dial, and it's a good looking case.
Yeah, that's got that case. It's more like that classic.
This is the GS44 case, which I personally love. It's the only example of it that I'm showing today. So
okay.
I see I have a lot of reflection going there, but it just
looks stunning though.
Yeah,
you can see the texture. You can see the texture to it.
And just to me, a little bit of a rakish style, very geometric.
Yeah, I think for a sport watch, that looks pretty good. Yeah, I kind of like the case on the Snowflake better myself, but that's more dressy. This is more like a sporty look to it.
And I like this one. So
what's the measurement on that one, the thickness? Are you going to measure?
Hang on, I'm going to take it off the screen then. Oops.
Craig looks like he's riding a Fisher-Price bus toy. I don't know what that all means, but anyway.
That sounds funny anyway.
Amazing dials, but the hands in the case are not great, in my honest opinion. Well, you should look at them in person. Have you actually looked at them? My gosh, I think they're gorgeous. Very classic Grand Seiko design on that one. Yep, some great watches being shown today. Steve, great job.
14.2.
I prefer the case of the Snowflake. Yeah, I do too, personally, but I'd like to buy a Snowflake, but I'm not a millennial, Clive says. Well,
is this Clive from LA?
Yeah, he's far from a millennial.
Yeah, I know.
Clive is no spring chicken.
And
He's talking, right?
9-inch wrist. That's not a. That's a spring rooster.
Yeah.
So okay, let's bring up the next one. Did you get the?
We're not seeing a watch right now. So
I'm moving toward that, and
they're asking where's the camera facing. It's facing at a non-existent watch.
I just can't move fast enough for you guys.
What is the anti-magnetic ratings on these?
Whoa, at least 4,800, but I think I don't have that in my head.
Yeah, I have to say I've never had a watch get magnetized, so I don't know. Unless you're working around some really strange stuff, I don't think you have to worry about that. But if you have to worry about that, I'd buy an Omega, and Steve sells those. Yeah. Those are basically amagnetic.
So we just brought up the SBGJ 219.
Somebody asked, is there Loom on the Snowflake? No, there is not.
No. How do we get over in the Snowflakes? So
why does the strap have a condom on it that just ships like that? It's got the plastic still on it.
So that I can ship it to you in pristine condition.
Look at that alligator strap.
Yeah.
That is gorgeous.
Yeah, they have excellent straps and very nice deployance.
Yep.
So pretty nice piece.
That is stunning. Now, what's the size of that one again?
Again, I didn't tell you that.
Put it to back in the, I can't see it now.
I took it away to measure it. 39.5 by 14.5 or thereabout. There you can see it.
That's another GMT, folks.
Yep.
So you wanted GMTs, you're getting GMTs.
And a lot of choices.
Turkey Vulture says, next time I go to Baltimore, I'm going to visit you, Steve. There you go.
Please do, Turkey.
What's the best watch to pick up the ladies at the club?
Ooh.
I would say the 9F, because they're going to see that the second hand doing that little click and then holding steady and all, and they're going to think that you kind of got your act together. I'm going to think you go with the 9F for that purpose.
Okay. This is a stunner and getting a lot of light on that. I'm going to dial it down.
I'll tell you what, he's got a lot of selection when it comes to GMTs. For you world travelers out there, Steve has a solution for you.
Yeah, you just got to come and see me. Okay, so this is a really, really pretty watch. It's the Svg M 221 with 9S movement, and a very pretty price at $4,800.
So, somebody asked something. Are those red or orange accents? I guess that was on the previous watch, because this one it's red. Blue, right?
Yeah,
the accent, or like a dark blue, right?
Well, the hand.
Yeah, the GMT hand.
Yeah, and
that is stunning. And now, what's the price on that one?
$4,800.
And does it have a deployant clasp too?
It does. It has the beautiful alligator strap. They're really beautiful.
Now, does that have a screw down crown?
I'm going to tell you right now. No, it does not.
Okay. Now, most of those others with the steel bracelets, those all have screw down crowns, right?
Most.
I think they do. I'm pretty sure the ones with the steel bracelets do.
That GMT hand a little better under this. So
yeah, see, this particular watch, I really wouldn't swim with not with that strap and everything. You know,
no.
This is not really for that.
Mm. All right, and one more coming up.
Watch Lounge says, most girls are going to see a Seiko and think it's only a couple $100, couple of $100, not thousands. So see, they're going to think that you've got some sense and you didn't spend way too much money on a watch. So there you go.
Or if you get one of our rose gold pieces, like the new US only limited, then they're going to think you are well heeled.
There you go. So he's got something to solve that issue too.
Yeah, just don't worry about it. We got you covered. All right, this is the stunner, and I don't know how that's coming across. This is the Svg M 235. It's a new limited edition.
Oh my gosh, that is stunning. Okay, somebody asked a question, compared to Rolex thoughts. Well, I mean, look at this dial. I mean, that speaks for itself. I mean, you're not going to get that on a Rolex. So yeah, we're bringing quality up a few notches here over Rolex. That's what we're doing with Grand Seiko. It's just a whole different ball game as far as quality goes. So if you want to step up,
this watch is $5,300, and Gentleman's Quarterly just reviewed it. The headline is the $5,000 watch that should cost $50,000.
I hear you. It's gorgeous.
Yeah, no, it's absolutely stunning.
And that has the deployant clasp too?
It does.
Okay.
It has a lovely blue, very dark blue croc strap, deployant clasp. It's got
Johnny Utah is quoting Archie Luxury, and I would say to Johnny, if you're like paying attention to what Archie Luxury says, maybe you might want to rethink that whole situation there. So there's that.
Mm-hmm.
Thomas says, love the dial.
Yeah.
A bit of an infomercial here, looking for unbiased info. Ernie, you're hearing it. I'm giving my critique as he's going along. I'm as unbiased as they come. I'm giving you the straight up facts. You're looking at the best watches in the world right now. Enjoy.
Yeah.
Saving the best to last. The GMT hand is a bit confusing on this particular one. I don't know. It looks pretty straightforward to me. It's pointing right at, it's got 14 and a hash mark for 15. So it's like a little past the 14 hour. I think it's pretty straightforward, but oh well.
It might be worthwhile showing how these work. How the GMT function works.
So you can jump the hour hand. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. So you would start out by setting your GMT hand to whatever this is.
1800 hours, right?
I can't see it, as you know, I'm in the middle of
okay.
cataract remediation, so I might.
So you're running blind.
Yeah. So then you go to the date window, if I can get to that, and clockwise.
I can see you jumping the hour hand. Yeah.
The hour hand, and I'm not in focus. There you go. And the GMT hand stays static, and then of course going backwards. But also, this is how you set the date on these. So you just roll it around.
Clive says, "Okay, that one I like."
Yeah.
Is that a limited edition? Somebody asked.
Very 1,000 pieces, and it's fabulous.
1,000 pieces. So what's the price on that one?
It is just $5,300.
Okay, there you go.
Yep. Yeah, really, really a winner. If I can do an infomercial.
Those hands are like little knives. Yeah, you can take them out and carve up a turkey with them. Absolutely.
Clean your teeth, whatever you got to do.
Clean your teeth, yeah.
So, anybody want me to replay anything, or should we just wind it up?
Let's see you. Let's switch back to your camera.
Okay.
Okay. There we go. And so, what are you wearing?
What am I wearing? Nothing. Here.
You took it off to show us, huh?
I took it off so I wasn't going to snag everything. We have a lot of wires going. Let's see, I can't see myself well. I'm wearing my trusty Bremont Alt 1C black dial. Steel 5 times harder than Rolex steel. I go in and out of cases all day long with metal edges. This is about 4 years old, and I clean.
Yeah, so there you go. So Johnny Utah says, what's the cash price, Steve? I'm 45 minutes from Baltimore. Call him on the phone.
Yeah, cash.
I buy in cash. Johnny says, I buy in cash. I don't use credit cards. Good move, Johnny. That's how I deal.
When are you coming?
Johnny, when are you coming? He'll wait for you. All right, so let me think what else we got going on here. Go through your most, not all 20 brands. I thought you had 40 brands, by the way. Go through your most popular brands.
Okay, well, Grand Seiko doing very nicely. Omega, we're just a dealer 2 months in, but very popular, obviously. All my customers either own one or have wanted one or want one. Bremont, we have Oris, we have 5 German brands, Alexander Sharikoff, little known sort of an art watch brand, Mula Glashütte, Nomos, Schaumburg. We have Towson Watch Company, our local Maryland company, really fine pieces made by 2 very senior watchmakers that visit the store frequently. We have G-Shock, including the MRG collection, the high-end G-Shock. For ladies, we have Michelle, we have Longines, we have Frederic Constant, I have Speak Marin, I have, what else? Atelier de Monaco. That's
somebody asked, Johnny asked, and by the way, Johnny says he can come tomorrow. He says, do you have any dark side or blue moon phase omegas?
Yes, I have dark side.
Dark side, not blue moon.
No.
Dark side.
Oh, the moon phase. Yes, I have that. I do.
Rwag says, Steve, I love the watches you wear. They're stunners. There you go.
Okay, great.
He's got it. He has a Grand Seiko.
Oh, yeah, I do. The SBGE 033, the green dial Sunburst GMT. I should have brought it in. Very hard to find. That disappeared immediately.
Next show, you can show that one off.
Yeah.
How do you find the Bremont watches sell, Steve? How do they sell?
It's one of our strongest brands. They have a very interesting story. They probably are underrated in the marketplace. They make their own cases with CNC machines. We've been there and seen them do it. Very elaborate casework that they go through. Just interesting people, interesting brand. Everything they make is a certified chronometer, even the ladies' watches. It's fairly rare, and we really like them.
So now everything you have, somebody's asking about lots of lower end brands besides Omega and GS. Omega and GS are your higher end, right?
Well, I said Atelier de Monaco is our highest end brand. That starts at 20,000 or 15,000 rather.
Okay.
And we're we're the first dealer in the Western Hemisphere for that brand. And they actually have a Geneva seal they've won, which is extremely rare. You folks probably know.
Turkey Vulture asked a question. Craig, are you getting the battery in your gold GS replaced by Steve? It doesn't need it yet, but would you replace it when it needs it, Steve?
Absolutely. And for you, gratis.
Gratis. Well, look at that. How you like it? He might even buy me lunch. Would you buy me lunch?
I would.
There you go. Well, there you go. Maybe Johnny Utah can join us.
Mm-hmm.
Johnny says, jumped on late. Do you have a website so I can see your inventory? I did put a link in the video description. It's littletreasury.com. Littletreasury.com. But is it updated all the time with your current inventory?
It's fairly well updated. It's tough to keep up with what goes in and out.
I would call Steve because he's always getting watches in every day. So I would call him. I wouldn't trust what's on the website personally. That's how I would handle it. And he's out of Newark, Delaware. And he asked about sales tax. Johnny, if he ships it to you, you won't have to pay the sales tax. So there you go. Right? He asked about Maryland sales tax rate. I think it's 6%, isn't it?
It is. Mm-hmm.
Let's see here. Who is the non-Craig person, and does he has GS, and does he own Bitcoin? He is a GS dealer. He just showed, you'll have to go back and watch the show. He just showed a whole bunch of Grand Seiko GMT models. Does he own Bitcoin? I think he has a little bit of Bitcoin. I think
I'm a toe in the water.
Steve's a long-term holder. He's not going to sell Bitcoin. Let's see. And the rest of the comment is not exactly appropriate. Am I the only one reading his sentences in Keanu Reeves' voice? Whatever that means. All right. Any other questions before Steve goes? He's got a business to run there, and he's got people buying watches. He is a busy beaver there. So any questions before he takes off? Put them in the chat. In the meantime, do you want to give out your contact information?
Sure. Obviously, we just talked about the website, littletreasury.com. You can reach me at steve@littletreasury.com. or phone number 410-721-7100. We're open 6 days a week, usually closed on Sundays, except for special occasions.
Seiko has some new releases February 8th in Japan. How soon will they hit the U.S.?
Not everything hits the U.S., so I need to see what's there.
Ask him what he thinks about the price of Bitcoin. What do you think about the price of Bitcoin, Steve?
Don't have much of an opinion.
He's just holding. He's not. He values his wealth in Bitcoin. He doesn't care about the fiat value of it. He wants Bitcoin. We value our wealth in Bitcoin. Let's see. And if he prefers to buy Bitcoin or GS, he buys both, like I do. I bought both. Let's see what else. Does he ship to Canada? Do you ship to Canada?
Yes, I do.
What are the duties and taxes?
They're on the buyer.
They're on the buyer.
Yeah.
So depending on how you ship, sometimes there are none. When my watch was shipped from Japan, there were no duties or anything. So it depends on how you ship it, I think. Thanks, Steve. Some great watches you treated us to. Clive says, why would you use Bitcoin to buy fiats? All right. Well, that's the deal. So next time we'll try not to have the technical difficulties. Can you ship to Israel and declare lower value to avoid VAT? I don't think we would want to talk about that on a live stream, even if he was willing to do that. I think that would be kind of stupid to talk about that. But anyway, do a deal. Do a deal. Call up Steve. Do a deal. Japan, no duty. USA, lots of duties. Well, like I say, I had it shipped from Japan to me, and I didn't have to pay any duties at all. I've researched that and all, and it depends on how they ship it. Because if they ship it, I think regular post office or whatever way they shipped it, there's just the volume of packages is so great, they just don't have time to check them all and to charge your duty. So it depends on how it's shipped. All right. Well,
if you buy in Japan, you're going to lose a year of warranty versus buying in the U.S.
Well, there's that too. So anything else you can think of that we should bring up? I think that's it.
Okay.
And let Steve know if you want him to do some more live streams. He's getting his gear together so that he'll be able to do live streams direct from his place without me having to be involved. So hopefully that's going to start happening at some point. I was hoping to see some Breitling premieres. Okay, well, he can do Breitling. Let Steve know what you guys want to see in these streams, and he'll make it happen. Does he have any Oxford suits? Steve, do you have any Oxford suits?
No. Is that from you, Craig? You're an Oxford suit man?
I have a bunch of them, but they were asking if you have it.
No, Craig hasn't introduced me to his tailor yet.
Okay, so Oxford suits. Okay.
Suits.
More Steve, less Craig. Absolutely. That's what we're trying to do, folks. That's what we're trying to get together here. Give us time. Rome wasn't built in a day. Right, Steve?
That's correct. But Craig's been very helpful getting this off the ground. So many kudos.
Yeah, you're going to get it together, and you're going to be doing broadcast. Are you thinking about once a week? Is that what you're leaning?
Yeah, you're pushing me toward it, Craig. And if I can keep my schedule on that, but we do a lot of travel around here too, as you know.
Okay, so you might do some live streams from some events too.
I would like to be able to do that.
Okay. So he goes to a lot of watch events, so he might be doing some live streams out in the field.
Yeah, we're going early March to Vermont's announcement up in New York, and they'll be announcing their new models up there in their townhouse event, and so we'll be covering that.
So somebody asked about an all gold 43 millimeter spring drive. The gold one you have, it's not 43 mils, is it?
I think it's 40.
Yeah, I don't know what model you're asking about there, Clay. Website is littletreasury.com. Littletreasury.com. There should be a link in the description of this video.
Also, if you dig into our blog, we have some interesting things on Grand Seiko among all the other stuff in there. So you might want to go back, and we have some things for Grand Seiko events we've had, and recording of a watchmaker assembling a spring drive and that sort of thing. So
Yeah.
take a look there and dig through it if you like.
I just put it in the chat too. I put the link in the chat. So, does Steve also sell Invictas? I don't think so.
not regularly.
I'm going to say probably not.
Yeah.
Let's see what else. I think that's about it. Is the inventory on the site? Turkey Vulture, he does have the inventory up on his site, but I would call him about a particular model because I don't know that it's always up to the minute. He gets watches in all the time. He's a high volume dealer. So call him if you don't see what you want. And I think Steve will be able to hook you up. Is there Kentucky Fried Chicken near your shop, Steve?
Absolutely.
There's a Chipotle right across the street too.
A bucket comes with your purchase.
A bucket of KFC?
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, there you go. Oh, that's a deal there. All right. Well, thanks again for coming on, Steve. We got 51 watching live right now. Anything you want to say to them before we roll out?
Thanks for watching, and no pun intended. And we expect to roll out some more of these in the very near future. Thanks a lot. Really appreciate your attention.
All right. Thank you, everybody. Thanks a lot. Thanks for the moderators, the Wrench Gang, too. Thanks a lot, everybody.